exhausted? Is your energy depleted and you have no interest in anything that you put your mind to? All you want to do is curl up and lay in the bed, and then you're thinking, what's going on? Maybe my body needs to rest. You might want to take some time off, right? Well, join me in learning what is that mystery that's keeping you from doing all the things that you want to do, have that high vibrant energy. Hint, it might not be that you need to take extra time off. It's not that you're working way too much. Hello, I am Rajitha Bommakanti, registered nurse, faith-based holistic coach, and founder of Healthy You Lifestyle Center. If you want to develop healthy habits for life, one step at a time, then you are in the right place. Click the red subscribe button to follow me. So let's dig deeper into this. What is this mystery behind you having no energy and you're irritable, very moody, do not want to do anything? What if I say it is your gut health? Does that surprise you? Your gut health? Tell me in the comments below. Did you ever think it was because of your unhealthy gut health? Let me show you the connection between the gut health and the depression. All health starts in your gut. Gut is the root of everything. Scientists call the gut health as a second brain. Unlike the brain in your skull, which is able to think, the brain in your gut cannot think. It cannot compose love letters. It cannot balance your budget, but it does communicate back and forth with the brain in your skull. How does that happen? Whenever there is some type of an irritation in your gut, it sends signals to the brain in your skull. That's how you have that imbalance in your mood and forgetfulness, your energy level. The gut health, it starts from the time you swallow food into your mouth. The enzymes are released, and then those enzymes break up that food into nutrients that are absorbed in your body to the part of elimination. And researchers have noticed that the connection between imbalanced gut, whenever you have irritation in your gut, like bloating, constipation, irritable bowel disease, the connection that there is from your gut to your mood swings, they think that's what it's linked, because of that back and forth communication that it does with your brain in your skull and the rest of your body. That is the reason it is very important to keep that gut health very healthy, because it is the root cause of all the other problems that you have in the rest of your body. So that could be the reason why you have no energy, you are very irritable, you're unable to concentrate, you're forgetful. That could be for many others that have imbalanced gut. Tell me in the comments below, did you ever put that connection whenever you had that bloating, constipation, very irritable, and you're like, oh, I just don't want to be around people. And, you think you're losing your mind. Tell me in the comments below, have you noticed that connection? And continue watching this video until the end, because I am going to be talking to my friend Don White about his son's story, how he had a total imbalance gut health, which he made it to a healthy gut. Let's dive a little deeper with the connection between gut and the brain. 70 to 80% of the neurotransmitters are in the gut. As I was saying, there is a bidirectional connection between the central nervous system and your gut health. Both of them, it keeps going on communicating, because there is about 90% of the serotonin that's in your gut health. Serotonin is also in your brain. So that's how they both communicate to each other on a regular basis. Serotonin is a chemical that balances your mood. So there is that connection between that gut and your mood. So now let's meet my friend, Don White. Welcome, Don.
Thank you, Rajitha. It's a pleasure to be here today with you.
Thanks for taking time to join me and letting our audience know. Wanted to talk to you about Skylar. We had that discussion before, and the journey Skylar has gone through, and now he is living a beautiful life. And wanted to just talk to you about, at what age, what were some of the symptoms that you have seen that you kind of disturbed you in Skylar?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I find this, well, of course, Skylar, my son, that's a powerful story. Um, and I had moments when I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And I'm very happy to report it's a brilliant ending. My son is thriving now, and we'll get to that in a moment. Um, it really started to show up, well, from ages up through like age 6, vibrant, happy, bright eyes, lots of energy, all good stuff. And then we started to see him struggle with some mood changes that showed up as just being anxious. And that's kind of a catch-all term that ties to anxiety. However, he would be fearful about things. He has always been an observant child, so he liked to observe things. So by the time he got to the 3rd grade, we thought we saw enough of a number of differences in our son to go have him tested in terms of might he have some learning differences? And he does. He processes language differently than many. So we figured out that for our son, it would help him to sit near the front of a classroom to be able to focus. We ended up finding out he has ADD. And what we didn't know at that time, a lot of the ADD was frankly tied to his diet.
Wow.
Too many carbs, eating maple syrup on his pancakes or his waffles in the morning, too many sweets, breakfast cakes with all the sugar. It was sugar related. In retrospect, we didn't know at that time. We didn't figure out all the sugar pieces until he was 21. We were in the dark a long time. We didn't know. So I would say to any parent listening to this or any person listening to this, you don't know what you don't know. We had him evaluated by a brilliant family counselor that works specifically with children, who helped us identify some of the learning differences, who helped us identify some of his mood swings. At one point when Skylar was a mid-teen, this counselor suggested he go work with a psychiatrist. And that got into SSRI prescriptions that frankly, in retrospect, I wouldn't go there ever again, ever. and you hear the definite tone in my voice. These are good folks. They're good doctors. They're doing what they've been trained to do. They care about the children, and they just don't understand nutrition. And this gets back to what you're all about. And I have come to learn the hard way, and now I'm pleased to talk to you about it so others can learn from my experiences the importance of nutrition.
How did you figure that out? That it was not, what you said, giving breakfast, donuts and sodas or candy bars, that's what kids eat. That's what parents, most of them, have that in their house, muffins, and those are easy grab snacks, breakfast stuff, and go. How did you, like a lot of them, they think, oh, okay, my child is a special needs child or needs extra attention. Go to the psychiatrist, get all the drugs, and take them, thinking that that's how they are, accepting that. How did you figure out, okay, this is not him? I need more than that.
It was a long journey, Rajitha, and it went from age 10 until age 21. It's a long time.
Wow.
Um, I was at my wit's end. We'd worked with a lot of good folks, many good docs. At age 21, my son had to withdraw from college. He got into a great school, Rochester Institute of Technology. He was in a mechanical engineering program, doing great with engineering work, A's and B's. And then when it came to balancing the rest of his life, because he had the capacity to balance his life based on wellness and nutrition and having a microbiome and gut that was healthy, that would allow his brain to think across the full spectrum of what's necessary to be in college. He couldn't do that because he had a sick gut
Mm.
from sugar, from glyphosate and other chemicals in foods. Anyone listening to this, please learn about glyphosate. It's in many of the foods probably on the shelf in your pantry, and I encourage you to just don't buy those products anymore. So I'm at my wit's end, and I know a nutritionist who had helped introduce me to what we call regenerative nutrition. I use a number of food-based, plant-based supplements, and they're magic. And he heard my story. I said, his name is Tom. I said, Tom, do you think you can help Skylar? And he listened to what I had to say, and he goes, yeah, I bet we'll have him on his way in months. And I struggled believing that. I said, well, let's give it a shot. I had nothing to lose at that point, everything to gain. So what did we do? What we did, we first eliminated as much sugar as possible. Oh, this is how it had to be predicated. Tom asked my son, Skylar, are you willing to change? And he offered Skylar a choice. He said, Skylar, if you're not willing to change, I can't help you. And my son was struggling. He had failed out of college. He was ready to change, fortunately. And he had me to support him. And Tom said, if you're willing to change, I think we can turn this around. So what did we start with? First, we eliminated sugar to the best of our ability. And my son still has some sweets, but he stopped drinking soda. He no longer drinks any sodas. And he was probably doing anywhere from one soda a day to maybe one every other day. So he was probably drinking between 4 and 7 or 8 sodas a week. He liked Coke.
Mm.
He no longer drinks soda. We cut back on carbs. We added healthy fats. We learned about the brilliance of whole fat. We learned about healthy meat products, free-range chicken, grass-fed beef if you choose to eat beef, grass-fed lamb if you choose to eat lamb. We learned about the brilliance of omega-3 fats versus omega-6 fats. We learned about fermented foods, eat pickles, eat olives. If you can eat sauerkraut, eat sauerkraut. Anything fermented to help our digestive tract do what it needs to do to be in balance. There's more. If people want to learn more with you, I'll be happy to join you and talk to them specifically if they want more detail.
So that changed Skylar's lifestyle, and then He's
Within 2 months, and I'll predicate this, let's go backwards. My son had been having sleep crashes of being challenged to get out of bed for a full day. That would happen 1, 2, sometimes 3 times a week. He couldn't get out of bed. My kid was depressed. He was depressed. Um, he had no energy. He had brain fog. He couldn't concentrate. It was labeled as ADD. In retrospect, some of it's ADD, much of it was nutrition.
Mm.
He wasn't eating effectively to be able to function at his best. So, fast forward again, we're back with the nutritionist, eating well. We then supplemented with some plant-based products that were magical. In 2 months, the SSRI went away, and he was taking Adderall for the ADD. The Adderall went away. He's never used it since. He hasn't needed to. Fast forward from that 2 to 3 month time frame from rock bottom. He was at rock bottom, almost on the way to the hospital one day when Tom had him on a Zoom because he couldn't go to the bathroom. He was constipated to the point where he struggled
Mm.
to have a bowel movement. And all that worked out. One of the plant-based supplements has a mild plant-based laxative in it, and it's brilliant. I use it. It's magic. And I have learned. What I have learned helping my son has made my life a whole lot better. I have a much more healthy microbiome. We don't get sick anymore. We don't get colds. And it's all based on plant-based eating that you're all about. And then what I've learned from this nutritionist, and I would advocate, eat well first, that's a given. And then if you want to be your best, you need to do more. You need to supplement, and it's going to show up for me as a 64-year-old. I teach kids skiing in the winter. The parents ask me, how do you keep up with the kids all day? Well, if I didn't do what I do and eat well and use some of these plant-based supplements, we call it regenerative nutrition, I probably wouldn't choose to ski with the kids all day.
Wow.
Joint comfort is way up, energy's way up. I'm having fun with the kids doing what I'm doing. My son now, it's been almost 2 years since he began working with a nutritionist. It'll be 2 years in December. He has a brilliant job in cybersecurity. He has the job before the degree. He's almost finished his associate's 2-year degree. He has 2 clearances in security. He has a secret and top secret security clearance. He has other owners of cyber security companies looking at him because they know him from high school robotics and his creative thinking. My son is brilliant. He doesn't fit the standard system. So to every parent listening to this, if your kid isn't thriving in the system, it's not your son or your daughter. They just don't fit the system. And I would encourage them to get back to you. And then I've got some suggestions there in terms of how their child might be assisted in other ways. That just, it's not the system. The system doesn't serve your children sometimes.
Wow. Thank you. That was very, good story to end right there. The reality right there, Skylar, from where he was to where he is now, living a full potential life, working, and that that's excellent. At any age, we can shift, um, wherever you are. You do things because we don't know, but once we learn, that's you just said. First is you have to have the desire and the intention to make a switch, then determination to go for it.
Yeah, I started learning about regenerative nutrition at age 53. And what's happened to me, I didn't think was possible. I've got some skin damage on the back of my hands. And if you look right now, you may see some very light brown spots.
Yeah.
They used to be black.
Wow.
And by eating well and using some of these plant-based products, the age spots gradually, I'm like, holy smokes, my skin is better in general. Anyway, all of what happened, I feel better now than I did 10 years ago. And most people go, yeah, right. Well, if people choose to listen to you and make the changes, I dare say they'll have their experience that will surprise them too.
Yep. Thank you so much. Our body is very, very resilient. It can, regenerate and rebuild at any time as long as you feed the right foods, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and beans, legumes, and variety is what our gut needs to be healthy. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Rajitha.
If you are eating foods containing glyphosate, then you are destroying your gut. The gut health, as I was showing you, it's connected to your brain. So if your gut is healthy, then you have a healthy brain. You can make appropriate decisions and have a healthy, vibrant life. So there is a bidirectional connection, as I showed you. So inflammation in your gut is inflammation in your brain. Every single meal that you eat affects the health of your brain and the health of your gut. You can improve the health of your gut by following a whole grain, fruits, and vegetables. Everything needs to be as close to natural as possible at any stage of life. By adopting these meals, you can improve your gut health and your brain health. And do not forget to download the free Healthy Gut Food Tips. The link to that free download is in my description box below. I am your faith-based holistic coach. Until next time, choose the right option